बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम लेडीज़ एंड जेंटलमैन। क्या आप सब जाग रहे हैं? नहीं, मुझे लग नहीं रहा। Could you please clap for yourself, please? थोड़ी ज़ोर से करें ना, great audience. Thank you very much. Thank you and hats off to you. मैं जब यहाँ बैठी हुई थी आगे तो कहीं कहीं कानों में छोटी छोटी खबरें, वो क्या बातें, खबरें नहीं, क्योंकि dawn है तो ज़ाहिर है we can talk about the news. But it's a great honor for me, and I warmly welcome to my all the three panelists, worthy panelists who are sitting over here, and I really want to appreciate all the amazing crowd, which is very seriously not only listening, in fact, they're passing few comments that, like I was just listening small things, like small words not means things, of course, the great things which you all are sharing, because this is something, of course, very serious. Once again, I really wanted to congratulate Dawn Media Group, Mr. Shakil and his all team, everybody, because this is one of the dream which we have saw and the vision which couldn't be complete without the support. And all those medias who work for this cause, I think great hats off to them. So now, getting back to the subject, as we all know that today we are talking about on smog, air pollution, of course. So I strongly believe that smog is no longer just a seasonal, inconvenience. Because previously we do hear this, that smog is something which is a seasonal inconvenience. It comes and it goes, but it is a national emergency which unfolding before our eyes. It chokes our cities and disrupts our economy and silently steals our people's health. Not only people's health, and on a very serious note, I really wanted to talk about the children as well, who suffered a lot. And more than that, they are unable to even play. So, that is moreover a human rights issue as well. This crisis demands that we move beyond temporary fixes and begin to address the roots, from transport and industry to agriculture and urban planning. Today, our goal is not to assign blame, but to find the direction to understand who is the biggest contributors and who are how together with each other can become part of the solutions. How we can, because it's somehow this way or that way, it is our habit that we do talk about or to put the blame game, but I think it's more important now that every individual matters a lot. How we can support, how we can work with each other, because the fight against smog is not just about clean air. It is about the kind of future we want to breathe in. So that's the reason we are in the conference of Dawn of Breathe In. So now getting back to my worthy panelists, I hope you all are fine and you had a long day and waited long. So my first question, I just wanted to say a small interaction, and I wanted to learn more from you along with my audience. So my first question is from Mr. Ali Zaidi, who is the General Manager Marketing to Omaida and Jaico, Naxygen Autos by Nishat. So transport emissions are among the largest contributors, as we all know, to Pakistan's urban smog. The shift to electric mobility is often Pakistan's, we described in a way as inevitable. But how realistic is that, this shift in Pakistan context? What barriers from infrastructure to affordability do we need to, and in which way, how we can overcome to make EVs mainstream within the next 5 years? Over to you, Mr. Ali Zaidi.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So first of all, the reality of air pollution and climate change. I was just sitting there talking to people, and 4 months of Mytica made it very real for me, because I had 4 months of allergies. So that is something that is not facing us. We go through it every winter, and it's approaching pretty soon. 33% is the share of emissions from vehicles in Karachi and 35% in Lahore. This is a huge chunk. So the question is not whether we would be able to make EV viable, or NEV as we would like to say it, viable in the next 5 years. It is more of a statement that we have to, for all our sakes. Now how to? It has to be sustainable, because if it those who are going to adopt to it. And when we talk about EV, it is new energy vehicles, which is EVs, PHEVs, and HEVs. All of them reduce the emissions to a larger extent. So there are 5 basic pillars that we believe if we hold them true, we'll be able to achieve the 2030 vision of the government, which is 30% of the vehicle share, pie of the market. The first pillar is consumer-centric products. You said it in your note that price is a big factor. This is a price-sensitive market. So we have to make sure that we account for that. Second is, how can we facilitate the consumer? Have products that already have air filters in them, so that their short term is also secured. That's a great sell. Thirdly, with EV comes range anxiety. So give products that have big range, like 1200 kilometers, for example. That's one angle. Second is behavioral change. And I understand even the speakers before us have been talking about it in different capacities. But I'll give you a very specific example. Our behaviors are based on our patterns and habits. So if a petrol user goes to a pump and gets refueled, he'll always think in terms of petrol. He'll say, okay, fine, I'll get an EV charger at the station. That will be such a hassle. What they're missing is that they can charge it at home. So that kind of thinking needs to change. Third is skin in the game. The big industry players need to have a consistent strategic vision and commitment to it. So CKD projects, factories that assemble over here, so that you're in it, rather than just bringing products. The fourth and a huge bit is the policy bit. You see, in the gist of things, we have to make EV more friendlier to the consumer. We have to make it more viable, price sensitive. Even, for example, Mr. Zafar Masood is sitting there. A policy that gives better loans for EVs or PHEVs at better rates. 3 million is the cap, perhaps increase that, so that people can afford it. And for two-wheelers as well. And the fourth bit is infrastructure. Because, there have been case studies, and I was just recently studying Nepal, where EV is shooting up because they have such policy making that for everyone EV is cheap. So they're adapting. But Pakistan, from Karachi to Punjab, is like many miles away. So we will need that infrastructure as well. All of these combined, once again, there is no choice. We have to do it for all ourselves. So, and I think this is a very positive and we are talking about it.
Thank you very much. That's really great. The policy infrastructure, of course, we all know the policies are there. Now recently, policy has also been there, then infrastructure. Thinking need shift. That, that is sometimes we think for a small things, and in that small thing, that benefit, we forgot about the biggest, solution or benefit. I would just wanted to say that you said the cheap, but I think we should need to change little word. What is cheap, rather than by using the word cheap, it would be more better to use affordable.
Absolutely price sensitive.
Yeah, because I think sometimes few people, you know, they're like who are a bit conscious, they were going to say that, oh, cheap, it means it's cheap. So I think it's better to say
Yeah,
that it's affordable.
affordable.
Anyways, thank you very much, Mr. Ali. Now getting towards Madam saying, I'm not saying villain, but it's coming like this in a way. So the smog narrative, but it can also be the most powerful part of the solution as well. Do you think that, how can the private sector take the lead in decarbonizing operations, investing in cleaner technologies, circular production, and emission reduction without waiting for government regulations to force and towards the shift? So here it you go.
Thank you very much, Romina. That's a big question. And I realize the weight on my shoulders because I'm supposed to be the voice of the manufacturing sector of Pakistan, right? The big guns, the villains, as you put it. But you also said very rightly that while we may have been part of the problem, we are also an active part of the solution. And since morning, I've been hearing this point repeatedly. Has already started playing its part, and the private sector had been playing part for a very long time. Maybe we have not been doing a very good job of promoting it. And I'll tell you why private sector was forced to do its part. It's primarily because at the end of the day, manufacturing sector or players in the manufacturing sector, if I was to just talk about the organized sector right now, which accounts for about, I think, 60% of the 13% GDP that the manufacturing sector is contributing into Pakistan. I think at the end of the day for businesses, competitiveness, profitability, and sustaining business is important. And the kind of macroeconomic instability that Pakistan has been experiencing in the last few years, and particularly in the last 2 years, the economic shocks that we have been experiencing, businesses are forced to think about operational efficiencies, right? And I think that is what makes it very exciting, because when you talk about cleaner technologies, the newer technologies that are all about manufacturing, etc., thank you, are by default focused on, adding to efficiencies of the business, but are also already pro-environment. So for example, if I was to talk about Pakistan Cables, where I work, we have recently set up a new factory at Nooriabad. We moved from our old plant inside Karachi, and now we have moved to Nooriabad. And I think when we were planning for it back in 2018, the first thing that we did was we started planting trees at the site, the area. We actually set up the first urban forest on an industrial estate, and we planted 50,000 trees because the vision was that, before even the construction starts, there should be trees, because it was an arid land. It was dry, it was hot, and I remember when I went into that area, I was like, how are we going to even construct a factory here? But we started with that thinking. When it came to new machines or equipment, one of the key aspects was looking at the fact that whether these machines are going to be operational on hybrid fuels or, cleaner energy options, because the cost of manufacturing in Pakistan is rising, right? And you all, I have a distinguished audience here, my panelists know it. What are the reasons behind those rising operational costs? Higher cost of capital, devaluating rupee, so many reasons, right? So keeping all of that in mind, you have to take those intelligent decisions. So the private sector or the manufacturing sector per se has been forced to take those calls for the better. Now, the interesting part is that our government also, in the last 3-4 years, has become active on this front, especially after the aftermath of the floods that we saw in 2022, so on and so forth. And I think that the manufacturing sector of Pakistan has been calling on, on the government too, looking for active avenues where the public and the private sector can collaborate. But I'll tell you what my read is on that, and that is that there has been a lot of conversation. There are isolated good examples, and I can start quoting you examples from the private sector also and the public sector too, by the way, right? You've been seeing what the government of Punjab has been doing, and Sindh is so hungry right now for things like this. But I still think that there is a big gap in terms of, the kind of action plans that need to be rolled out that are profitable and beneficial. Because we all can sit over here and talk till the end of the day. We can talk about fantastic, robust policies, but policies without acknowledging our economic realities, are no good. And I think that's why if we're saying that this is a movement that's in motion, I mean, just like Dawn Breathe Pakistan, I know I sit on the ESG committee at the OICCI. We have been doing these climate conferences for the last 3 years. We invite the private sector, the public sector, the activists. I was listening to Rafi Alam just now, and he made some very good, strong points. But I still think that the kind of robust action plans that needed to come still haven't come. And I can assure you that the private sector is ready for it. Last but not the least, I want to acknowledge that the ACCP this year has made it mandatory to report, and disclose, the emission targets, etc., as per the IFRS 1 and 2 accounting standards. That's a great step. But I think that's something that they should have started 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And businesses are ready. Businesses are conforming. We're saying that's fantastic because that's going to open us to international markets. That's what the international buyers are looking for, compliant businesses. So great opportunity, and yes, we are definitely part of the solution.
Thank you. Very well said. I think you have very rightly pointed so that isolation, and I think moreover it's important that the coordination among the industries and all that, that is also something where not we can make the profitable things as well, and we can manage on the macro and micro level as well and look forward towards betterment. Thank you very much, dear. Now my question to Mr. Kazim M. Saeed Saab, who's the CEO, Pakistan Agriculture Coalition. I just wanted to learn as well by asking this question from you, that every winter crop, residue burning turns large part of Punjab into a smoke corridor. Farmers often say they have no affordable alternatives. What scalable and economical viable solutions can help shift this practice? Can public-private partnership technology interventions provide a path that is both farmer-friendly and climate-smart? Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Romina. I'd just like to give a little bit background. I know you don't want to call farmers villains, but a lot of people think that polluters are villains. I just want to convince you that farmers are definitely not the villains in this. They may be the anti-hero of the story. Generally, in public policy, the focus, the right alignment of policy for the public at large and individual interest, they should be aligned. And in this case, the public policy interest is that there shouldn't be burning, but farmers are burning the rice crop particularly. Why is that individual interest coming out the way against the public interest? So let me give you a little bit background. This practice is not happening for every crop. And it's not happening all year round for both the major harvests of the year. It's only happening in the winter. If we go back 20 years, 25 years, there are folks in the audience who will remember there wasn't this problem before. And 20 years ago was this simple world of only wheat being harvested with large harvesters and the rice crop being cut by hand. Can you believe it? 2005, 2003, in Punjab, people were cutting the wheat crop by hand in the 21st century. Now, with the global experience is that whenever you have a shortage of labor in rural areas is when mechanization really picks up. It doesn't just pick up because government gives subsidies. It picks up mainly because there's shortage of labor. And the shortage of labor in the rural areas, especially around harvest time, has been getting more and more extreme over the last few decades, but last couple of decades particularly. And so, since there weren't rice harvesters available, and this is the tragedy of the farmer in Pakistan, that the farmer is blamed for taking action which is forced by the lack of facilities, lack of modern seed, the yields are so low, costs are going up, etc. This is not stuff that the farmer can control. So the farmer did not have access to specialized rice harvesters. So which harvesters were available? The wheat harvesters. And the wheat harvesters, the simple thing to understand is that the wheat harvesters cut at about 15 inches because the chaff is 15 inches above the soil. And what you really need in rice is 4 inches or something so that the next crop can be done. Now this difference, 15 inches, 4 inches, this is the central to the problem. Because the wheat harvesters started to be used. I remember 7 or 8 years ago in Punjab, people were observing that the rice harvest used to be about 6 weeks or so, from around the 1st of November to about the 10th of December. And it shrank within a few seasons to 20 days. Because the harvesters were being used, whether they are new, whether they are right for rice or not, the harvesters were being used, and it saves the farmer a lot of time as well. So they took it. But as different from wheat, where the straw is useful for cattle, and it sells as well. So if you apply some money to labor to cut it out, it will sell. So you will recover your cost. Unlike that, rice straw is not used for cattle, not suitable for cattle. And so that, if it's cut at 15 inches, it has to be burned. What would you do? It's what I ask. What would you do if you were in that situation? The costs have been going up for the farmer. The yields have not been going up. We have to do a lot of work on seed still. So the solution is to burn. And there is a better solution available. Rice harvesters are there. But they are expensive. The new ones are expensive. The Asian Development Bank did a very comprehensive survey in Punjab a couple of years ago for mechanization, and they asked the average age of the wheat harvesters in Punjab that people are using. The average age was 37 years. 37 years. So they are already done 20 years in another country, and then they've been running for 17 years in our country. So you can't expect the results, and it's not the right harvester anyway. These rice harvesters are expensive. We've done a lot of discussions with government saying, let major corporate players of Pakistan come in and provide this service. And they don't have issues of access to capital. Farmer will get a few more monds every acre if the rice harvesters are used for rice. Yeah. And so farmers will pay. But I think this is where, in policy school, Romina, they teach you about good practice, good policy and good politics. So it's good practice to have the rice harvester. Yeah. It's good policy to try to finance some large-scale, large players for this, but it's not good politics. Because in the end, the decision that comes out, and I'm being a little to the politics, it's the optics of giving a handful, 100 harvesters to big companies who can really do the job and get it done and get loans, etc. for them and make it a sustainable business versus the optics of giving 10,000 small machines, which may not be the right ones, to small farmers. Always the small farmer option wins. And maybe that's good, but it's still not solving the problem. So I'll stop here if you think that gives out.
Yeah, I got to know.
I can go on, but
stop. No, I really believe that's really amazing. Very well, rightly a point, and I think these are the things where we all need to be together and learn. That's the reason I said that I really wanted to learn, because of course that can also help me and people like me more. Well, in the end, I really wanted to thankful to my great panelists who are very short, relevant, and focused. I hope it is going to give a great benefit to the people who are sitting over here. In just closing, I just wanted to say that Pakistan's struggle against smog, when we say, is not just an environmental challenge. It is a test of our, of course, governance, our innovations, and our collective consensus and consciousness as well. Every breath we take today carries the weight of decisions left too long undone. But I have a faith because this nation has never bowed to adversity, from floods to droughts, from crisis to recovery. We have always found the strength to rebuild. Now we must find the same resolve to reclaim our skies. Clean air is not a luxury. It is a constitutional right, a public duty, and a patriotic responsibility of all of us. Let's remind ourselves that every policy we frame, every industry we regulate, and every habit we change is a step forward, protecting our children's right to a future free from the haze of neglect. The battle for clean air begins with awareness, with responsibility, but must end with action. And that action must start now, because it's now or never. And I always say one thing, and I also wanted to say it today again as well. In the end, it's not a matter of I or you. It's a matter of us. So us together, we can build a better and great future. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. Thank you very much, my great panelists.